This problem, we want to factor this completely if possible. If not possible, write not factorable. Let's look at our different techniques for factoring. Our first one is GCF, and that's greatest common factor. Our second one is grouping, and that's when you got 4 or more terms. Our third one is the PSD, and that's when you got the form x squared plus bx plus c. Our fourth one is key number, and that's when you got the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Our fifth one is dots, and that stands for difference of two squares. And this is when you got two terms with a minus between them. Our sixth one is the difference of two cubes, and that's when you got two terms with a minus between them. And our seventh one is the sum of two cubes. This is when you got two terms with a plus between them. So let's take a look at this problem and see which technique we use. We've got 64 x to the third plus 27. Okay, our first method, we always try to do this one, GCF. Well, these don't have anything in common, these two terms, so can't do that. Grouping is 4 more terms. Well, this is just 2 terms, so it's not grouping. PSD and key number are both trinomials, 3 terms. Well, there's only 2 terms, so that doesn't fit. Dots, difference 2 squares, 2 terms with a minus between them. Well, that's close, except for there's a plus between them. Difference 2 cubes is 2 terms with a minus between them. Again, that's there's a plus between them. And our last one is sum of 2 cubes, 2 terms with a plus between them. 2 terms with a plus between them. So the sum of 2 cubes is the only one we can try. Depending upon what the problem looks like, it tells you exactly which technique to use, with the exception of dots and difference 2 cubes. Okay, so with this, we're going to try to rewrite this as something to the third power plus something to the third power. You take a look at each individual piece and you ask yourself what times itself 3 times gives you that. For example, the 64 is 4 times 4 times 4. The x to the third is x times x times x. And the 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. So we were able to rewrite it into this form. If you're able to rewrite it in that form, that's when you can use the sum of 2 cubes. Now I'm going to label what's inside the first set of parentheses as f for first. I'll label what's inside the last set of parentheses as L for last. Our formula for the sum of 2 cubes is f plus L, f squared minus FL plus L squared. So now everywhere we have an f in our formula, we'll plug in 4x, and everywhere we have an L in our formula, we'll plug in 3. So we got 4x plus 3, 4x to the second power minus 4x times 3 plus 3 squared. So we got 4x plus 3, 4x squared. 4x times 4x gives us 16x squared. Minus 4x times 3 is 12x. Plus 3 squared gives us 9. And that's our answer. Now it always looks like you should be able to take this down further, but you can't. That would have to be a 24 on your middle term here. It'd have to be twice as much for you to be able to factor it down further.